Hey folks, Vortex here and welcome to my review of the 7hz Legato, which is a dual dynamic Bassy. As you can see, these should be quite an interesting listen because 7hz actually makes some quite decent stuff, and this being a dual DD, so it should be a Bassy boy. And yet, as usual, full disclaimers, I'd like to thank Linsol for sending me this sample, so thank you very much. I was not paid to do this video, or thoughts and opinions are my own. And yeah, this should be quite a good set. So 2-pin, which is good, they got away from MMCX. Bit of information, so 26 ohm impedance. 2-pin 0.78, obviously 108 decibels of sensitivity. That's what it looks like. So yeah, this should be good. So let's just crack on with it. So this is what comes in the box. Very, very nice. It's like looks like wood, but it's actually a fake wood. Very nice. I had no idea what to expect. So it's the same kind of size as I think as like the Dioko case, but obviously it's different. So that's quite a nice presentation. So check that in a bit. Comes with a bunch of tips there. So looks like some grills. Bit of paperwork, how to use earphones, all of this just common sense. And yeah, so look at these bad boys. So they're not that, I was expecting to be quite big. So as you can see, quite a nice build. They're quite subtle in its design. That length looks should be fine for like comfort. Obviously I'll open this up at another time. But looks pretty good. 3.5 connector. Quite simple packaging, but but premium at the same time. So obviously this is the first time I've opened this. I've not tried them at all. So as usual, I spent some time on the graph them, blah blah blah, and yeah, I'm looking forward to these. Dual DD, so it should be quite fun. So yeah, I'll see you guys in the future. Yes, so welcome to my review section of the 7hz Legatos. So let's get straight into obviously what it looks like with the cable. So it's not too bad at all. So it's 3.5. Yeah, it's not too bad. Have a closer look so you can see. Wide split chin sliders, fairly effective. Then on to the ends. So that's what it looks like. Works perfectly fine. Decent enough cable. So take these off. So obviously it's good that on the newer models that they've gone over to 2-pin. Just take this one off as well. So yeah, the cable that it comes with is actually perfectly fine. So let's get on to take these tips off. Comfort and then build quality. So the right unit, very nice build, as you can see. Nothing amazing. It's just, I like that it's quite subtle. Doesn't really show anything on the back. I like that. Yeah, and it's perfectly fine. Slightly offset there with the 2-pin, so it's turned, so it does match. You can also see about the polarity with the red dot. But obviously it makes sense anyway because the connectors have left and right. So comfort, yeah, it's actually okay, not too bad at all. It does look, it is a thick, chunky boy, but it's actually not too bad at all. I think it helps that the nozzle is longer. So if the nozzle length's short, the ears are touching there, which is a bit of a problem I had with the SimGots before this. This is a bit better. They are kind of heavy, but it's not too bad at all. So build quality is again more than enough. As you saw in the previous clip, it does include some of the actual guards as well, if you have to change them. It's the usual kind of, I don't know, cyclone, I don't know what you'd call it, same kind of normal 7hz use, and it's perfectly fine. So power and sensitivity these are a little bit harder to power, but nothing out of the ordinary really. They didn't see finicky or nothing like that. Just a bit harder, more class as a normal DD would probably be. It's just a bit harder, but it's not too bad at all. So the timbre of these is actually pretty good. Again, DD timbre. I think it uses a 10 and a 6mm from memory. obviously I will link everything in this description so you can actually have a good look. But it is a 2 DDs per side, around the $100 kind of mark as well. It's tuned a bit differently to something like the True Theory Zeros and the QKZ, the Khan models. Them are both dual, but this is more of a bassy model than that, which you'll see in a bit. So Soundstage on these was actually okay. I was hoping a bit more, but it is enough. I wouldn't recommend these for like gaming if you want to use that stage. It's good it's fine for fun gaming, but for competitive, it's got far too much low end, which we'll talk about in a bit. And yeah, nothing to say really. So sound, because that's what it's all about for a dual DD model. So I'll show you what the graph looks like now. So as you can see, bass, like a lot of it. So these are definitely bass head level, and these rumble, and they hit the bass hits you like a freight train. But it's quality bass, so it's not just a load of it and it's just thick and that's it. The dynamic driver, the views for the low end, the big one, the woofer, it seems to be quite of a high quality unit, so it can take all this like a champ. But yeah, not much to say really. There's a lot of it and it hits you like a lot. So if you watch anything, for example, with I've been watching like the Mandalorian, so that the low notes in like the soundtrack, or like when these spaceships go past or anything like that in like the show, it gives you a lot of rumble and it sounds great. But the negative of that is like the mid range. It is a bit recessed. It doesn't look as bad as it, it doesn't sound as bad as it looks, but it is a little bit recessed. The vocals do sound fine. Now, that's probably one of the negatives, is the mid range is a bit recessed. So treble. Now mine have a little bit of an imbalance there, but the rest of the graph is perfect basically. Now I've checked a few others, and a few other people seem to have a bit of imbalance in the treble region, so I think that's just how these are. So I was expecting these to sound quite dark because of the amount of low end, but they do have enough treble to kind of balance it out a bit. It doesn't completely solve it, but a lot of bass is a lot of bass. So treble looks like there's quite a bit of it when you go past the like 6K to 10. But because of that big low end, it doesn't sound as bright as it looks, is probably the best way to describe it. I did find instrument separation was pretty good. It's not the best, but it seems I was quite happy with it for the $100 kind of price. Now these are really, really like crazy expensive DD models where you get into the hundreds, but for $100 for a dual DD setup, it's actually not too bad at all. Now, I'm quite glad they didn't go any more with the treble, and I'm quite glad they didn't go any more with the bass. So these are more of a premium bass head set, but they don't really sound fatiguing. So when I listened to these first and then graphed them just before this video, they did look more aggressive than it sounded to my ears. That's why graphs aren't always like the go-to, it's just a guidance. But yeah, the treble's actually not too bad at all. I just wish the matching was a bit better, but it just seems to be just like how it is really. And yeah, I found them quite exciting. It just depends what genres you listen to. I like electronic music, as I normally say, and these do sound pretty good for that. Now these are definitely not for people who want more neutral, but like kick drums sound great because they've got massive impact behind them, or anything like that. It just depends on your genres, but that's pretty much the graph. So my conclusion is, do I recommend these? It all depends, say, like on your genre, and again, comfort of these big boys, these chunky boys. But I do like the sound. I do like bass, and these suit my electronic music very well. They're good for cinematics, good for films, bit of action. It makes it feel alive because of that big low end. Again, like with the Mandalorian, it sounds great. It all depends, I say. For fun gaming, they sound good. For competitive, there's far too much low end. It just depends how much bass you want in your life, basically. But I do like this set, and I do recommend them. It just depends if that sound is what you're after, or if you might want to EQ the bass down a bit. That's up to you. But I do like the overall tuning, and the DDs. The views seem to be of good quality. Cable's good. You say you get the good cavi case. You get plenty of tips. Yeah, overall, I'm quite happy with them. Just it's all about the tuning, if that suits what you like. And apart from that, I think they were a good set. So if you want anything particular, let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching, and my next video is a planar model, so keep your eyes peeled for that. And yeah, have another look at these chunky boys. Yeah, and I'll see you in the next video.